So there's an African saying that I really like is, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together.
Right.
And I have to say, I think Learn.Je is now at the stage that we are, going to bring more and more people together.
Why Jersey? And was the plan to go straight in with your own business moving here?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Jersey was my plan F.
Right, okay.
So it was not by design.
Yeah.
I have seen really talented young people in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It is never about the intelligence. Sometimes it's about exposure and belief.
What is one innovation do you think would disrupt education in the next, say, 5 years?
That's a really $1 million question.
Yeah.
You say that? I think
So, Victoria, welcome on the show. How are you?
good, thank you. I'm really feeling like it's my greatest honor to be invited to be here.
Good. Well, long time no see. When was the last time? It was at the event, wasn't it?
It was at the event
November?
of the pitch event. No, January.
Was it Jan?
It's
Was it?
January.
No, it wasn't.
I
I thought it was
January.
in the year, last year.
Wait, was
No,
that
definitely last year.
December?
Maybe December then.
Oh my god,
Wait,
the
it
year has...
feels like ages ago that
Oh
we see.
my god, I think it's just because we've been both very busy.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so oh my god, that has been a while, right?
Yeah, no, it has. But it was a good event. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for So for context, you made me the host for the event.
Yes.
Really enjoyed it. Did you think it went well? Or?
I think it went really, really well, and I was super proud of our young people. It's young entrepreneurship, I'm really passionate about it. And you were just absolutely great with encouraging them.
Thank you.
I think that's really a beautiful event.
Yeah, thank you. Right, so should we get into it?
Yes,
Okay.
let's get started.
So my first question is, what do people need to understand about you for them to understand who Victoria Lee is and what she does?
Okay, so I think first of all, I would say when I introduce myself, I always add my last name is Lee as L-I, not L-E-E.
Right, okay, yeah.
Because again, that's the Cantonese way of writing it. And then mine is like Mandarin Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
So when I speak with people, I normally try to let them understand that I see education from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
So English is my second language. And I always say that, and Mandarin Chinese is my mother tongue.
Right.
So I also speak some Korean and some French.
Wow.
So what I understand is what it feels to navigate systems in more than one language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was state educated all the way through. I trained as an English teacher, completed a master's degree in developmental psychology,
Wow.
and I also spent 3 years in doctoral research in education, specializing in leadership.
Wow, okay.
Sorry, it's not like, I think it's like, these are my kind of like qualifications.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I move from that, I am also a mother and a school governor. So I see education not just academically, but also as a parent and as part of the system. I moved to Jersey 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 6 years ago. And it was never my plan A. But I love this island so deeply, and I'm really proud to call Jersey home.
Yeah.
So everything I do, whether that's as social entrepreneur or running events like Young Entrepreneurship Award, running the workshop, or organizing community festivals like Jersey Lunar New Year Festival, it all comes from one belief, which is social mobility must be intentional, and opportunity should not depend on background.
Yeah, okay. Going back to the languages.
Yeah.
So how many 4 or 3?
4 languages.
4 languages.
Yes.
When you speak, do you get, because I've got loads of people that are from Portugal and they speak Portuguese and English, and I've never really, do you get confused with the languages when you speak to someone, or is it just like you've just got used to it now if it's English, if it's Mandarin?
I think it's because I lived in those kind of like countries. So then that helps when you are fully immersed in that language.
Right, okay.
So I think is one of the beautiful things is because different culture brings you different perspective. And I have to say my French and my Korean are not that great, but I have good accent.
Right,
so when I start speaking, people always thought that I can speak a bit more than what I actually can. So when I have time, maybe I will pursue the two languages a bit further.
And then, based on your experience with entrepreneurship, what is your overall opinion on it? So is it worth it? Would you do anything differently? What would you do differently? Is it worth it, do you think?
I think if you want to make a real change, entrepreneurship definitely worth it.
Okay.
I would say don't romanticize it. Because entrepreneurship is not glamorous at all. And it's really hardcore and it's really tough. I think it's all about clarifying because it forces you to really align your mission with the business model.
Okay, yeah.
So that's one of those things that you have to confront the reality, the funding, the structure, the timing, and also your own blind spots.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the kind of thing, like I always kind of keep that in my mind. If I were to do anything differently, I think I would possibly spend more time on market validation.
Okay.
Specifically in Jersey.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I would slow down any other. I wouldn't slow down any other process. I'm definitely not going to disencourage myself.
No.
So there's an African saying that I really like is, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together.
Right.
And I have to say, I think Learn.Je is now at the stage that we are, going to bring more and more people together. And so we can walk far.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then you said you moved to Jersey 4 years ago, so 2020?
No, 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago, okay. With your family. Why Jersey? And was the plan to go straight in with your own business moving here?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So because my friends knew that Jersey was my plan F.
Right. Okay.
So it was not by design.
Yeah.
But I think when I first moved here, for me, because with my educational and business background, I didn't just jump into doing anything, startup business. What I did is because I think at first I thought, Jersey is a very affluent society and, education quality should be like that.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I actually volunteered and worked in the local education charity.
Right, okay.
And then I worked with the government and then in the government. So I think that gives me a kind of like really good period of time for me to observe, what is needed and also to understand about the island more deeply.
Yeah.
And then Learn.Je felt very much like a natural response to what I was seeing.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And then what motivates you personally to work with young people and future talent in Jersey, do you think?
I think that I think the talent is evenly distributed across the globe, globally, but opportunity is not. So because English is my second language, right, and I was state educated, and I understand how you can fear that the system actually blocks you out of your again, like there are certain kind of like networks that you may not be able to break into.
Yeah.
So I was motivated by the idea that the young person's growth trajectory should not be predicted by their background.
Right. Okay.
Or by their language.
Yeah.
Or by their networks. So if we get the education right, then we protect the future of the island.
Yeah.
I think economically, socially, and culturally.
Yeah. Okay. And then moving on to your business, Learn.Je, for any viewer that might not know what Learn.Je is or does, could you explain what it is?
So Learn.Je is a platform that promotes social mobility through education.
Okay.
I call that Learn, so then I don't need to be like .je all the time. So we connect students, schools, families, communities, and industry, so that the young people can see a clear pathway for them to step into the future economy.
Yeah. Okay.
So education, in my point of view, should not just be delivering qualifications, and it should really expand opportunities for the young people.
Yeah.
So I think we want to make sure that that opportunity is not limited for the young people here.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And what are you most proud of during your time as a founder of Learn?
The evening that we met, we met before the evening, the pitch event that you were hosting, I think that was definitely one of the most proud moment.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that when you see that, the young people are capable to really shine through and know what they're doing, that's, incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think also sometimes it's not just like one program or one milestone. It's when the children and throughout our different programs, when children and young people, that they show up consistently on time, not because they have to, but it's because they wanted to. And I think that's just really amazing to see that when they take that initiative and when they want to put the effort into that, and we know that we're doing something right. I think that's the most rewarding time for us.
That's good. And then my other question is, what actual problem did you see in Jersey that made you think this needs fixing?
I think that's, again, this is what I was... this is my personal kind of like worry. We know that Jersey has been a really successful offshore financial center, and 40% of the workforce is connected or working in that sector. And that sector has been incredibly important to the island. But we also know that the skills required within that sector is evolving rapidly at the moment, especially with automation and AI. My concern is not that our young people lack of ability, but it's more kind of like what our system is preparing them for, I would say, yesterday's job.
Right, okay, yeah.
So that's the kind of thing is like at this time, and also I see some of the really talented young people don't see clearly of their pathways. And then combine that too, in a small community like Jersey, network matters, exposure matters, and confidence matters. And we hope that we can really bridge that gap by connecting education more intentionally with opportunities.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. And my other question is, what would massive success look like for Learn.Je?
I think massive success for me is to see that young people from Jersey, their trajectory would not be predicted by their background.
Right, okay, yeah.
That's what I want to see. Yeah,
perfect, okay. And what surprised you the most running a business in a place like Jersey?
The market size. I think that's one of the things. Like, market size, we should all take that into consideration. And it's quite obvious, but sometimes you would. That's sometimes the most obvious things that you will forget about. But one of the other thing that I was really surprised is about how interconnected that Jersey is. So on one hand, when you see that positively, is that whatever you're doing that can be more impactful if you do it right. On the other hand, it's about how change can be slowed down because of the relations behind it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then moving on to young entrepreneurs and Jersey talent. From what you have seen, what qualities separate young people who take action from those who don't?
I have to say, throughout the Young Entrepreneurship Award, I have seen really talented young people in Jersey. I would say it is never about the intelligence.
Okay.
What I felt is sometimes is about exposure and belief. So the young people who take the actions are the ones who have seen examples. They've been encouraged, or sometimes simply being allowed to try.
Okay.
And then the agency is the belief and the ability to influence your own life.
Okay.
So then that's the kind of thing that agency needs to be cultivated. So because it doesn't appear automatically.
Yeah.
So what I see is that when the young people experience encouragement, responsibility, and visible pathway, that agency grows, and then they will believing that they can do everything.
Yeah.
To make a change.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think? You said intelligence. There's a lot of other stuff. Intelligence is probably at the bottom. Would you say? Or not?
No. There is a theory called multi-intelligence.
Okay.
That was from the one of the professor that I used to work with, called Howard Gardner from the University of from Harvard University.
Right. Okay.
Sorry. So he has this. He has created this theory in, I think it's 1982. I can't remember exactly, but he was talking about the intelligence should not just be really evaluated in one form. So hence the education should not just be designed for one type of ability.
Right. Yeah.
So that's in the particularly schooling system nowadays, we see it is mostly being evaluated by the linguistic intelligence and logical mathematical intelligence.
Right. Okay.
So there are other intelligences that
Yeah.
you can evaluate a person's ability.
Yeah.
So resilience and perseverance, the other two kind of like characters that you possibly need to think about as well.
Yeah. Okay. And what is your opinion on real world experience compared to qualifications?
Okay, I think I just impressed you with my qualifications.
You did.
So I was like, I'm trying to be very careful, because when I normally say that, I would say like I didn't get my PhD because after 3 years I kind of like, no, I don't think that it's my pathway, but at least I tried and know where I landed.
Yeah.
I think qualifications do matter. They still matter. Because that demonstrate your kind of like, I think, discipline and also some foundational knowledge. But real life experience really matters because that builds your judgment.
Yeah.
And judgment becomes increasingly valuable in this, I would say, the AI era, because you have to understand about, whether you would understand whether that's, you would need to understand whether you can apply your knowledge into making sensible decisions.
Yeah. Okay.
And that all comes from your judgment. So I think in the ideal world that you should really integrate the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my other question is, what mindset shift would you say needs to happen for more young people to take action? Whether that's, so not saying they have to start a business straight away, but just to take action in whatever they like.
I think we need to normalize experimentation.
Okay.
So I think, people would immediately think about like taking risks. But risk is another kind of like narrative. You can use the word differently to actually express the same thing.
Yeah.
So because we know that how, in Jersey, this is a high cost environment. So risk feels heavy and expensive. But if you structure the experiments carefully, with internships, pilot schemes, small projects. I think the young people needs to understand failure is the mother of success.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like you need to understand also the direction emerges from the action.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. And then my other question, if an 18-year-old in Jersey wants to start their own business tomorrow,
yeah,
what should they actually do first?
That's brave, first of all. But we've seen a few. I would say start small and try to think about a real problem that you are going to solve.
Okay.
Talk with people who you think that they might have a better idea or better understanding, and try to validate your idea first.
Yeah.
I think that's where you should start.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think for a young person? Do you think they should go straight into a business, starting their own business, or do you think work a few jobs first and then start their own business? Do you think, or do you think it doesn't matter?
I think that's the kind of thing is because confidence varies, right? And also experience varies, and depends on how much summer work you've done before. And then, once you kind of like understand, you have a little bit understanding of the business model, you have a little bit financial literacy, and because all those knowledge will help you. And then you can make the decision whether you want to give it a try or not.
Yeah. Okay. And then are you seeing more young people wanting to start a business, or is it considered rare?
I definitely see more and more curiosity there.
Okay.
I think more young people now realize that the traditional pathway may not work for them. So then they start, really proactively seeking for other pathways for themselves.
Yeah.
So I would say, yes, I would see more interest now.
Yeah. Okay. And then moving on for your advice for others, what advice would you give someone that feels behind or maybe unsure of their direction?
Life is not a race.
Yeah.
When I was possibly slightly older than you, I was very privileged to work with some ultra successful entrepreneurs, and some really like amazing professors and high achievers.
Yeah.
And I think I was really trying to keep up all the time, and totally forgot that most of them are 30 or 40 years older than me.
Yeah.
And now looking back, I was like, oh my God, what I should have done is to take a moment to say, Victoria, you've done really well. Like for age, but then that's the kind of thing when you were in it, you kind of like forget about
Ignore it. Yeah.
And I think just focus on yourself, celebrate the milestones of your own growth, and do not compare yourself with others.
Yeah.
Everyone has its different timeline.
Yeah. Okay. I listened. Do you know a person called Chris Williamson? He does he does his own podcast, not in Jersey. He's LA or somewhere, and he tells a story. He was on a podcast with someone, and this guy swam pretty much from one side of LA to the other side of LA, and he basically just talks it on the podcast and says what his journey was. He got stung by jellyfish, eaten by sharks, and stuff like that.
Oh my God!
And Chris asks him, "How did you feel on the swim, on the journey?" And he basically just said, "I didn't feel anything until I touched land." And Chris links that with his journey as well, when he's just so into his work and he doesn't even feel, because you're constantly going and go. Do you think that links well when you were younger? Do you think that's what you were feeling as well, when you're too focused on the journey and too much work, you don't actually realize how you're feeling in that moment?
I think because you will keep keeping up.
Yeah.
And then for you to be like each mile, each kind of like step or each stroke, you just kind of like you want to focus on that bit.
Yeah.
But then you forgot to
and you just keep on going and going and not taking yourself back.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite interesting, because I listened to that today, and that's kind of how I see it as well when I'm booking recordings, and I'm just keep on going and going and going, and I'm not actually taking a step back and just seeing how well I've done that one or how bad I did that one, and just keep on improving. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I think also because that was kind of like your own journey.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, it's the same with that person taking that challenge and as you doing it yourself. I think that's phenomenal. What you're doing is great.
Thank you. And then my other question is, how should young people think about taking risk early on in their career?
Take it as early as possible, please,
Right, okay.
because that's the cheapest time for you to take any experiments.
Yeah. Okay.
If you fail, take that as a lesson.
Yeah. Okay. So if you fail early, do you think that's better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Definitely better.
And then my other question is, one book, resource or platform you'd recommend to young people in Jersey?
One of the books that I would recommend is from Daniel Kahneman. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow.
Right, okay.
It is about try to understand how the mind works.
Okay.
Because it tells the difference between like intuitive thinking and also more like slower and more deliberate reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, again, with this kind of where we're living in right now with the information overload and AI generated content, I think you have to understand your own conscious bias, and then your cognitive bias, and then to bring that into your work, your life, and that will benefit you quite a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other thing is like I was thinking about it, not to be competitive with your podcast. It's the BBC podcast called Radical.
Right. Okay.
I really enjoy listening to it because they bring like kind of big ideas and social shifts into a very well thought and balanced way.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And then my other question is starting the biggest step. Hang on. I don't know if that makes sense, what I've put. Starting the biggest step, if it is, what advice would you give someone who fears? Okay, yeah. What advice would you give to someone who fears that first step?
I think absolutely agree with you that starting is the biggest step, because the 1,000 miles start from that step, the very step, and then everything else compounds.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then your business works with schools and employers. How do you approach institutions as a founder?
I think with full respect, and with alignment.
Okay.
Because I truly believe that Jersey is such a beautiful place that everyone that I come across wants to do something better for the society.
Yeah.
This is what I see, that even institutions, they want to contribute back to the society and support children and young people, which is amazing to see that. So my approach is really to align the missions. If we can show that the social mobility strengthens the economic resilience, collaboration becomes very natural.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And then we've got one Slido question for you from a viewer. What is one innovation do you think would disrupt education in the next, say, 5 years?
Oh, that's a really $1 million question. You say that? I think. Okay, let me have a think.
Yeah.
So when I was talking with you earlier about the theory of multi-intelligence, right? So with that, just have that kind of like bear that in mind, and then if we look at the history of modern British education system.
Okay.
So especially in the 20th century, I'm not going to go back to the medieval, but like especially in the 20th century, is that our system has become very increasingly structured around standardized examinations.
Yeah. Okay.
So A-level was introduced in 1951, and then GCSE was introduced to replace O-levels in 1986.
Right. Okay.
So if you fold the time, you will see this is actually a very short period of the British education system.
Yeah.
Right. So, and those systems was designed at a time when Britain or Jersey needed more administrators,
Okay.
officers, and professionals in a structured industrial and bureaucratic economy.
Okay. Yeah.
So then, following that need from the market, we built one model. So it's like one teacher, one classroom, one subject, and standardized examinations. Right. So that made sense for its own time. Now, information is abundant through social media, through everywhere. AI can help with homework, can help with translation, and it can even help with essays. Right. I think that's one of the things that people were worried about. So when the information and explanation are abundant, so the core of our current education system, which is memorization, becomes less central.
Right.
So what becomes more important is judgment, is creativity, ethical reasoning, and adaptability.
Okay. Yeah.
So plus a strong sense of oneself. It's like agency.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest disruption would not just be, not just say AI, because AI is going to ruin everything. It wouldn't be directly by AI, but I think it's about the mindset change of how we value learning.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that shifts is from knowledge reproduction to human development. So it's more about what can you do and what are you becoming, who you're becoming.
Yeah. Okay.
So I hope that explains that.
And that's all my questions for you. But thank you so much for coming on. Did you enjoy it?
I absolutely enjoyed it, and particularly the last question. I think that was really
I think
brilliant.
It's a great question, isn't it?
Yeah.
As I said before, I started the Slido idea, the first podcast, and it was always 0 questions. So it's great that we're getting at least one question.
Yay!
So,
That's the first step. But for the person who actually asked that question, thank you so much as well.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.